Okay, so yesterday we talked about linear word problems and writing a y equal rule from a word problem, okay? Today we are going to talk about taking that just one step further. So we're going to deal with some similar problems and we're, again, just taking it one step further, okay? So, the first part is always still going to be to write the y equal rule. So Charles gets an allowance of $10 a week, then an extra $3 per chore. I'm going to start by writing that y equal rule. So I have y equals, so if he gets $10 per week, no matter what, because that's what an allowance means. You get that no matter what. So that means we can add that at the end as our starting point, because that is where he's going to start every single week when he's getting his money from his parents, because he gets that $10 no matter what. Then an extra $3 per chore. So that means it's $3 every time he does a chore. Okay? So we're going to make sure we define our variables here, because that's going to help us with our next couple questions. So x is the number of chores he does, because it's $3 every time he does a chore. So you can think of that x as it being like every time something happens, okay? Or you can think of that x as per, because it's $3 per chore. You can think of that x that way too. The y is going to be the total amount of money Charles has each week. Because every week, Charles is getting an extra $3 per chore, $10 for allowance, and that's going to total the amount of money his parents give him every week. So now it's going to ask, how much money does Charles make after 4 chores? So we're going to take a second and think, well, it's asking about 4 chores. Which variable is the number of chores Charles does? Right, so the number of chores Charles does is x. And we want to know how much money does he make after that. So which variable is the total amount of money he makes or has at the end of the week? That would be y. So we're going to put 4 in for x. And we want to know what y is. This is what we want to find out. And now we're going to go through y equals 12 plus 10. So y equals $22. And it's important when you put that dollar sign there. That's super important because that's the context of the problem. Now, how many chores does Charles complete in a week to earn $40? So now we got to think about which variable is the number of which variable is the total amount of money he earns each week? That would be y. So we're going to put 40 in for y. And we want to know the number of chores, so we want to find this x value. So now we're going to solve for x. I'm going to subtract 10. So I got that x equals 10, which means he has to do 10 chores to get $40. So our final answer is 10 chores. So make sure we have these labels like that dollar sign up here and the word chores, just so we know what we're talking about. Let's look at another problem. Now, if I were you, I would pause the video right now and try this one yourself. And then we can go over it together. Okay, I'm going to go over it. So, Sean borrows $10 from his parents and decides to pay them back $2 per week. Write the y equal rule. Okay? So, he borrows $10 from his parents. So we know that he's starting out from his parents borrowing a total of $10. And he's paying them back, so he's losing his money at $2 per week. Now, what does our x and our y variable represent? So our x variable represents the number of weeks. Our y variable represents the money Sean owes his parents. Okay, because Sean borrowed this money from his parents. So that's how much money he owes them back, because this is saying he borrowed $10 and he's paying them back at $2 per week. So then y is going to be, what this represents, this whole thing, is how much money he's still going to owe them after, a certain amount of weeks. So after 2 weeks, how much money does Sean have left? So we know that our x is our number of weeks. So we're going to put 2 in for x. So it's $6, okay? So he has $6 left to pay back his parents. So still owes, okay, $6 to his parents. Because after 2 weeks, he's paid them back $4, which is this right here. And so he still has to pay them back $6. How many weeks have passed if Sean owes $2? So, y is the money Sean owes his parents. So we want to put 2 in for y. And we want to find out what x is. So we're going to subtract 10 from both sides. We're just going to solve for x. All right, so 8 equals negative 2x. Divide by negative 2. And we have that x equals negative 4. So after 2 weeks, or after, hang on. How many weeks have passed if Sean owes $2? So that would be the 4 weeks have passed, because we have to think about the context of the problem. Okay, so even though it's negative 4, we got to think about that, so because we're working from him owing, that's why it's negative. So you got to think about the context of the problem here. Okay? All right. So, you have a Desmos activity to do today, so please work on that when you're done watching this. All right?